Alright, so this video we're going to be talking about the bony landmarks of the foot and ankle. Like I mentioned in class, once you know the bony structures, connecting to muscles is just simply connecting to bones. So if you really need to work on your palpation skills, work on being able to find all the bony structures, and then you can use those muscle worksheets to just figure out where the muscles go. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our patient at 90 degrees of dorsiflexion. This keeps everything consistent. Alright, so this way, if you put your patient in this position, everything will be lined up the way it should be regardless of where you are. So what we're going to do is first palpate our medial and lateral malleolus. These are our two main reference points. They're the easiest thing to palpate at the ankle. So we're going to find them and just mark them. Easy to find. So if you ever get lost, just always go back to your malleolus. So then we're going to go to the medial side. And I want to thank Mike for showing me his nice ankle here. So at 90 degrees of dorsiflexion, there's our medial malleolus. We're going to drop down, ½ inch to an inch, and you're going to feel a little bony prominence right in there. That's the sustentaculum tali. Okay, sustentaculum tali. So 90 degrees, just drop down off the medial malleolus. Sustentaculum tali is actually part of your calcaneus. So this whole big bone down here is your calcaneus, one of your tarsal bones. Moving from sustentaculum tali, we're going to travel down the foot. And as we travel, again, maybe about an inch or so, you're going to feel a much larger prominence. On Mike, it's quite prominent. And that is your navicular tuberosity. Okay? So that is now your navicular bone. And I hope you have your trail guide out while you're doing this. You can follow along with the illustrations. So we start on medial malleolus. We drop down to sustentaculum tali on the calcaneus. And now we've moved to navicular, which navicular tuberosity. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move across the dorsum of our foot. Navicular tuberosity basically takes up the first and second toe. So if you use your first and second toe as landmarks, you basically know that navicular takes up about that much space. Okay? As we move down our toe, you're going to see that you have your cuneiforms, which is basically the first cuneiform, which is in line with the first toe, and that's going to be orange for our purposes. I'm hoping I'm getting this. Second cuneiform, or the middle cuneiform, which is in line with the second toe. And then the third cuneiform, green?
Green.
We'll do green. Third cuneiform in line with the third toe. Okay? And I actually made a quick mistake. Navicular actually does extend all the way to the third toe like that. So navicular in black with navicular tuberosity. Cuneiform 1, 2, and 3, or medial, middle, lateral, depending on which book you use. Then we come to the lateral side. There's our lateral malleolus. I'm going to try to do it without breaking Mike's ankle off. And at 90 degrees, when we drop down, you're going to feel a little bump. That's the perineal trochlea. And on Mike, you can actually see it. If he everts and inverts, you can see there's this perineal tendon right there. It wraps around that perineal trochlea. So we bring them back into neutral. So when we come here, there's our perineal trochlea. There's our lateral malleolus. And we come back to the dorsum of the foot, basically taking up fourth and fifth is going to be cuboid. So cuboid lines up with both navicular and the cuneiforms and takes up your fourth and fifth toe. You can always find if you're on cuboid correctly, what color I haven't used brown yet, is because right here is the base of the fifth metatarsal. Okay? If you palpate base of the fifth metatarsal and come back here, that's cuboid. So cuboid actually does extend all the way down here. I was just trying to paint on the dorsum here. So there's your cuboid, and there's your base of the fifth metatarsal. So when you're manipulating your foot, your tarsal bone should be between your malleoli and your base of the fifth metatarsal. That's where your tarsals sit. Now the only tarsal bone we haven't talked about yet, because we've done calcaneus, we've done here, is the talus. The talus is jammed up underneath the fibula and the tibia. The only way to really find it is we plantar flex, and you see this little dome pop out. And we're going to make that color dark green. That's the trochlea, or the dome of the talus. And when he comes up, it actually gets buried underneath there, so you actually can't palpate it. So there's the talus, navicular, cuneiforms, cuboid, calcaneus. Those are your tarsal bones, right? As we move through, coming into the forefoot, you have your metatarsals, which line up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We already talked about the base of your fifth metatarsal. We come down here. This is the ball of your foot. In medical terms, it's the metatarsal phalangeal joint. So this joint right here, metatarsal phalangeal, it's the ball of your foot. You have 5 of them. Moving into the phalanges, this is the little piggy went to market. This little one stayed home, etc., etc. Note, only the hallucis, or the first toe, it does not have a middle phalanx. It only has a proximal phalanx and a distal phalanx. All the other toes have a middle one. Even this little fifth guy, he still has a middle phalanx. This is your interphalangeal joint on the first toe, and on every other toe you have a proximal interphalangeal joint and a distal interphalangeal joint. So if I was to quiz myself and say palpate the proximal interphalangeal joint of the fourth, I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. Proximal interphalangeal joint is right in there. It's where the proximal meets the middle. That's the actual joint. So that's how you work around the foot. We'll talk about ligaments in the next video, but this is going to be where most of your landmarks insert for your muscle. So we'll do ligaments next video.